Hello there, welcome back to today's Zeeebest Day 1 Dream Realm Wars Guide for Skyclops. So for today's video, we're going to talk about the best team for Skyclops on Day 1 at the lower tier or the early game. And for this video itself, I'm not going to cover the kit because I think you guys are pretty much familiar with Skyclops. So for this boss itself, the best damage dealer is without a doubt Talin right now because of the massive single target damage as well as the ability to kill off the summons ASAP. So if you don't have Talin, then there's another team which features both OD as well as Zeee, which I'll share later, but this is the best team right now in terms of overall damage. And the best artifact for this team to do max damage is Verdant Spell. So for this team itself, because we are running Reina, Coco, Mikola, which are the supports, and then we have OD, which is the ranger, which gives us a 5 unit fractional bonus buff. The Verdant Spell is also able to further amplify our stats with the massive stat boost as well as the maximum duration on the class base buff, because we have 3 different factions, so we get 3 additional seconds, which is the one on the mage, the one on the support, as well as the buff on the rangers itself. So this is where we're able to do maximum damage. So without further ado, let's jump into battle. So for this battle itself, we are sending in Talin with Reina because we want Reina's heal to keep Talin alive. So this is one mechanic which I covered yesterday for the best PvE team, where we ran Talin together with Reina to swap Talin in, and as Talin is consistently covering the battlefield with her flames, she will be able to heal herself as she's attacking the enemies with the Reina debuff. So Coco right here is there for the massive damage reduction. You can't run double healer for this boss because the boss has an AoE laser which will wipe your team if you do not have damage reduction. So this is where Coco comes in, right? You need that massive damage reduction to reduce the damage coming out from this laser, and then the buff from Mikola there will be able to cover up for Smokey's buff itself. Another thing that I think Mikola is a lot better is because of her burn ability from the EX weapon. So this is where if you have Mikola with the EX weapon, Mikola is actually a lot better compared to Smokey for this boss. However, if you don't have Mikola with an EX weapon, I think you will be much better off with just using Smokey if you have your Smokey more developed. So this is one team showcase. Okay, so this is with OD as well as Talin core. Okay, so next we're going to showcase the team that I'm currently using on my own account. So right here, Zeeebo right here. So this is another team that I'm running. So for me, because I have the charm set on Lily May and I do have Talin on my very own account, so instead of Talin, I actually use OD as well as Lily May as the core carry. And for the formation itself, instead of switching in Talin, I'm actually switching in OD, and I'm using the resonating spell for OD. So I get more haste on my whole team and I get more damage on my OD. And because for this team itself, we are running, I'll say, like a mix of different characters, we can also run Verdant Spell for the maximum class based buff itself. But I haven't really had a chance to try it yet because this was the best damage I got, which was 970 mil with whatever levels I had. So I think by the time I level up to 9, I should be able to clear difficulty 2 or common 2 and then move on to the next difficulty itself. So with regards to the boss itself, I think Coco is pretty much a must for the damage reduction as you do more damage. And then between Mikola as well as Smokey, I think it depends on who you have more invested. I'll do one run with Smokey and then one run with Coco with this exact same team for you guys to actually compare between the 2 units, right, in terms of their differences. So right here, we're gonna copy my own team. Okay, so this is for those of you guys without Talin. I think like myself, if you don't have Talin, then you can obviously run this comp. So this is with Lily May as well as OD. So right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune the levels a little bit. So this is one thing that you guys want to do, like when you're doing Dream Realm bosses, remember to tune the levels of your units. So I will do one run with Verdant Spell and one run with Resonating Spell to just compare the damage on this account, and then we'll do one run with Smokey to show you guys the difference between Smokey as well as Mikola. So right here, let's start the battle. So, I mean, for Skyclops, I don't need to explain much for the mechanics. If you can finish off the summons ASAP, that is where you're able to jam in maximum damage. Right, so that's the goal of why you need Talin, or why Talin is the best attacker. If you have sufficient damage coming out from Lily May as well as the burn from Mikola, you're able to also stretch through the summons pretty fast as well. So that's what I realized, at least on common 2. So that is for the Lily May together with OD duo. Later on, I'll do one run with Verdant Spell and compare the damage, and then one more run with Smokey to just compare the difference between Mikola as well as Smokey for those of you guys who don't have Mikola. Okay, Okay, so right here, Resonate Spell is on OD, because for Lily May's case, the ultimate bar of the boss is not charging up as fast. So whenever Lily May casts her ultimate, there's actually a downtime where she activates the active to deal damage. So instead of putting this resonating buff on Lily May, putting it on OD is better, because OD can just spam the ultimate whenever the energy is full. So this will allow the damage to be more consistent and it's less wasted, right, compared to putting on Lily May, where she will have times where she can't use her ultimate because the ability is still active. So 965 million. Okay, so there will be a little bit of min-maxing for this boss, because depending on how fast you kill the summons, the little bits of damage that we can jam in will give you a higher range itself. Okay, so this is with Lily May. You can just run through the damage once again. Okay, so now let's run through with Verdant Spell with this exact same team. So based on this account, the highest range with Tailin was actually 1000 mil. So right here, I think with more equipment as well as levels, should be able to break this difficulty tonight. Okay, let's continue. Just do 2 more runs. So this one is with Verdant Spell instead. Okay, so Verdant Spell works for this setup because we have a rogue, we have a support, and we have a ranger here, so we still get the maximum class buff. Okay, so let's see the damage difference. And then later we'll do one more for Smokey. So I think for Smokey's case, I think Smokey is a little bit weaker compared to Mikola, because Smokey's cloud does a lot of damage, but it's a one-off thing. And in terms of Mikola's EX weapon burn itself is more consistent. It helps to clear out the summons much faster compared to Smokey in most cases, therefore making Mikola the more optimal support. But later we'll still try on Smokey to just see the difference. Okay. So this position allows both OD as well as Lily May to get the buff from Mikola right here. Okay, do damage, jump onto the boss, nice. Ballet, and then we got the energy up, cast the ultimate, so yeah. So Verdant Spell over here gives penetration to the rogue, gives attack speed to the ranger, and then haste to the support. But I think based on the pacing of the damage done, we probably won't beat our best record. Yeah, we probably won't beat the 960 with this team. Might be able to. Please don't summon anything. Okay, a little bit unfortunate. Timing was a little bit unfortunate there. Summon at the very last second. So 940 mil with Verdant Spell. Okay, so this is us not buffing up OD. And next, let's run through one more run with the Smokey tag in the place of Mikola. So let's put Smokey in the middle. Okay, so I think Smokey will be a little bit worse in this account because the Mikola actually has the charm set, which restores energy to get to the ultimate faster. But I think Smokey should also be fine. Yeah, I think Smokey should be fine. Okay, so let's just give it a try. So we'll run with Verdant Spell to just see the damage difference. Okay. Because for this itself, I think Verdant Spell is a little bit better for Tailin to get the ultimate up faster. So once Tailin's ultimate channels up, right, if she can keep her HP high enough, she won't die, and then that's where her damage will just be super duper consistent. Whereas for the other team itself, I think the Verdant Spell is good. I think penetration as well as attack speed on rangers and rogues are good, but like I think because the core of the Tailin team is to get to Tailin's ultimate ASAP, I think Verdant Spell is better for the Tailin team, whereas Resonate Spell is better for this Lily May and OD duo itself. So another way to play it is you run both Smokey as well as Mikola, and then you run a full Mauler team with OD as the carry. So take out Lily May and then put in Mikola. But I do think that that team is a little bit slow in terms of killing the minions. So that's where it will be a little bit challenging, right, to kill off the summons, and that will slow down your damage output. Okay, so unfortunately we are losing a lot more damage with this setup. Okay, 890 mil here. Okay, so this is the damage distribution. So Verdant Spell is a little bit weaker for non-Tailin teams, and Resonate Spell is better for this sort of team because of the increased haste as well as the buff on the carry itself specifically. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video, right? These are the different team ideas that you guys can use for this team. I think for Skyclops specifically, if you want to survive to the end, you definitely need Coco, because I've tried double healing on my own account. Unfortunately, double healing is not enough to survive that like 80-90% HP laser blast from the boss, and that's why you definitely need this to massively reduce that laser damage. Another thing to take note of is for Reyna's replacement. For those of you guys asking me who can I replace Reyna with, you can just run the full Mauler package, right, and then position your OD in a place where Mikola as well as Smokey can buff him up. So I think you should still be able to do decent damage. But like I mentioned multiple times, Reina in this brand new season is back again for all the Dream Realm bosses because of how easy it is to access the debuff and how much heals and damage reduction he can provide for the unit that he sent in, making the unit a lot more tankier. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like, subscribe to see more. See you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.